Hello, my name is Laura. I'm a visual artist and I'm also a teacher. I'm really delighted to be working with you all on this series of online video workshop visual art tutorials. The series of workshops have been generously commissioned by the Courthouse Art Centre, Tinnahealy, County Wicklow, and it's funded by the Arts Council of Ireland. In this series of workshops, we're going to explore a range of art making techniques and processes that artists, designers, and creative practitioners use in their own practices. We're going to be looking at colour, line, form, shapes, textures, and materials. Most importantly, in every workshop, we're going to have the chance to explore our own creativity and imaginations. I'm really looking forward to working with you all on this series, and I can't wait to see your own imaginative responses. Please share some images of your work with the Courthouse Art Centre, Tinnahealy. Thank you. Hello and welcome to today's workshop, Never Ending Buildings. I'm really looking forward to working with you all as we explore line. This workshop is geared towards primary school children, but anyone from any age is welcome to take part. We don't need too many materials at all for today. We're going to need quite a few sheets of white A4 paper. Just paper that you use in the printer or in a photocopier is absolutely perfect for this. It doesn't have to be particularly heavy quality paper. I would say maybe 20 sheets. Then also some old newspaper or old brown paper to lay underneath it so your work surface doesn't get stained, because we're going to be using a lot of black pen. So we also need lots of black pens and markers. Ideally quite thick markers in black colouring pencils as well, and a regular drawing pencil. We're going to need a scissors and a ruler. Also, we're going to need masking tape, and we're going to need a glue stick also. So not too many materials at all needed today. So looking forward to getting started. Artists and designers and architects do research to give themselves ideas for their work. Research really means collecting interesting ideas or images to help inspire your own work. I'm going to take you on a tour around the world of interesting architectural buildings and structures to give you inspiration and ideas for your own imaginary never-ending buildings. Our first stop is Tokyo in Japan. We're looking at a close-up view of Nagakine Tower. These, what look like washing machines, are actually mini pods where people live and sleep. These little boxes extend upwards to create a tower. Closer to home, Dublin City has tons of really interesting bridges, old and new. Bridges are usually designed with engineers and architects. Bridges can be interesting ways to extend and connect our never-ending buildings. This is the Halfpenny Bridge, a very old bridge in the city centre, and a much newer bridge. Look at the structure, the shape, the lines to give you ideas for your own work. Next up is North Africa, Morocco. Look at the details in the windows, in the stone carvings, and the beautiful round balls at the very top of the tower. Next up, we're off to London. Here is an architect's drawing of the inside of the Fhlaibhín building, a very old apartment block in the centre of London. This is a close-up photograph showing some of the pillars and staircases and balcony areas. Back to Ireland again and going back in time. Glendalough, the round tower. Check out those tiny windows, and I'm imagining a ladder extending out from one of those windows to help the monks come inside. In County Meath, we have Trim Castle. Beautiful archways, slit windows again for soldiers to point their arrows through. Flags are still flying high on the turrets. Our last stop is New York City and the Chrysler Building. Check out those beautiful curves, triangles, as the tower goes taller and taller and sharper as it reaches the skyline. Please do continue your own research. You could check out books, TV, internet for interesting buildings and structures from both old and modern times, from Ireland and further afield. Enjoy taking your time with research. I'm doing some doodles and ideas into my notebook for all sorts of building and structures, using lots of different types of lines, squiggles and doodles. Your artist notebook is such a handy resource for your ideas for testing I'm playing around with creating stone brickwork on my castle turrets. Different thicknesses of line can add lots of contrast and interesting colour and shape, even though it's only black against white. Lots of black lines coming together can look really interesting. Squiggly curls of lines can become trailing ivy, growing all the way up the round tower. Enjoy using your notebook to play with all the different swirly, squiggly, wavy, cloudy, wispy lines that you can possibly think. And dots, 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 and more dots, and more dots, and more, and more. Dots, dots, dots. The first thing we're going to do is get our paper ready. Mark out each of your sheets of paper. Then get gluing. Secure each of your sheets to each other to get one long extending strip. You can use some masking tape at the back to keep them securely in place. Now it's time to get drawing. I'm looking at my sheet of paper. I'm starting at the bottom of the sheet, and in my mind I'm thinking back to that mosque, that beautiful tall structure that we saw from our architecture images from Marrakesh in Morocco. So I'm having those same shaped windows, and then I'm going to add pillars and a domed roof onto my next stage of my drawing. And I'm thinking of castles. I'm thinking of the image we saw from Trim Castle in County Meath, and thinking of those turrets again. Don't be afraid to use your ruler too while we're working. I'm extending my roof of the turreted castle, going up and up, moving forward in time to a more like fishbowl shape. Let's see what that might become. Thinking back to our image of the round tower at Glendalough, and extending that with a fence railway. Now with a black marker, I'm going to outline all of my building shape. You can have kind of scraggly outline shapes in some parts. I'm doing that at the round tower because I want it to look quite old. Then you can shade in some sections. I'm shading in these slit windows to give a shadow effect and to show that there's an indoors and outdoors in these buildings. You can explore creating texture and very detailed line with your marker. I want to give my round tower roof a really aged, old look. So I'm adding lots of small, craggly slate tiles. Lots of line marks together will add contrast to your work. A change between the white contrasting with the black marks. Creating some brickwork, adding marks to create a stone effect. Take your time with these. I've decided I'd like to add some details to my castle, so I'm adding a series of crested flags. And again, here you can add a contrast between black and white. Lots of different patterns and combinations of stripes and marks. Enjoy. Don't be afraid to use your ruler to mark out quite intricate, detailed areas. I'm creating a series of scaffolding structures to support my space station. I want to create a series of viewing windows from my space station. I'm going to play with large oval-shaped windows, outlining them to add detail, and then giving little shine marks to give the impression that it's a shiny glass surface. Little shiny, tiny little marks can be quite useful. Although I was thinking of Glendalough with my round tower, the story of Rapunzel has come into my mind now, and I'm just going to go with that. I'm going to create lots of leafy ivy, my squiggly marks, and Rapunzel's hair flowing out one of those windows. I'm going to show you how to make a spring. This is really handy for all sorts of art and craft activities. Fold your A4 sheet in two and cut. Make sure you folded it long ways, of course. Then fold it over and again and open, and fold each part one more time. It's like you're creating a series of steps, pressing as you fold. And you're nearly there. Now you've got your spring effect. Let's see what we can do with this. I've decided that little aliens belong on the space station section of my building. I'm going to quickly create two mini aliens, complete with one eyeball. So I've got my two mini aliens ready to go, jumping around on the space station. This time I'm going to make mini springs to fit the mini aliens. Snip your card, just like we did before. Fold each strip over. Fold again. And even one last time. Open out your strip. Very carefully, these are teeny tiny. Same again, fold once, fold twice, fold again, and open out your spring. Get your glue and carefully attach each alien, and they're ready to go. We can also make cutouts in our building to give interesting extra detailed features. I'm going to make a trapdoor, draw some wood effects, and create a springy doorknob. Glue that into place very carefully. Very carefully cut out some of your door, not all of it, and leave enough for the hinge, and then place some extra paper at the back. Glue into place and add a friendly, not too spooky ghost. You can extend your building even further. I've added a whole extra strip and drawn out my design for my buildings in pencil. Of course, use your imagination, and this is just an idea. You could use any types of imaginary buildings and your own research that you've done to create completely original, unique and creative, never-ending buildings. I've marked out my design in pencil, and now I'm going over all my work in marker. Adding texture and detail, a very decorative roof with multicoloured black and white tiles. I've decided to make my apartment building cow themed with cowhide pattern and cow horns too. Why not? Thanks so much for taking part in today's workshop on never-ending buildings. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you can continue to explore these ideas in your own time. We started with architectural research, looking at interesting buildings and bridges in Ireland and all across the world. Then we started to explore line, making our huge long sheet using A4 paper. We got started on creating a series of different buildings. We added contrast and texture by shading in different parts in thick black marker and leaving some white. This isn't a finished piece. We could keep adding to this to get lots more contrast of black and white areas. Then we started exploring pop-ups and pop-outs. So we made our little springy aliens using just little strips of paper folded, and we carefully cut out sections such as a little tower trapdoor, revealing a not so spooky ghost, and with a nice springy doorknob to use to open it. We extended our sheet working across, so not only were we extending the building up, we were also extending it across. I was inspired by Dublin's bridges to create a bridge like this. So this could be something that you could spend days and days and weeks coming back to when you felt like it. You could keep going across your door or the wall, extending and enlarging all the time. It's also an activity that perhaps other family members might enjoy, might help you colour in, might help you design different features of your extending building. I've kept mine all black and white because I wanted to share with you ideas around line, contrast and texture. But for sure, when you're finished, this could be a fantastic colouring project also. So please do feel free to share your finished extended buildings or even works in progress with the Courthouse Arts Centre Tinahely. You can share on the Courthouse Arts Centre Tinahely Facebook page or send an email to the director at courthousearts.ie. Thanks so much. Take care.